Welcome everybody to another episode of the Redflex. We are joined by Harris once again. It's the Kasim and Harris show again. Surprise, surprise.
Dream team, mate. Dream team.
And I know there's a big fight on. Mike Tyson's fighting, and there's a few other boxing on tonight as well. Maybe you've been watching some football, but the only thing that you need to watch this evening is the Redflex. So if you've got any thoughts of watching anything else, make sure you only watch this because this is the only thing worth watching. Isn't that right, Harris?
Damn right, mate. Looking forward to a good win. Looking forward to a good performance. I think it's gonna be a tough game, but yeah, I think I'm going to give you an early indicator of what I'm going to say later on. I think it's going to be four in a row. 4 in a row.
4 wins on the bounce. So I think we've come off a win over Istanbul a couple of days ago, which overall, I know that you had your thoughts on the previous show and you weren't entirely happy. Let's go back earlier and kind of cover what Solskjaer said in his press conference to start off with. What was the main kind of things that he brought up?
Yeah, just very briefly, I'll cover it. I mean, he was asked about fitness players. He said that McTominay and Pogba didn't train with the group on Friday. So take from that what you want, really.
Something more than that. Pogba's probably found out he's not going to be on the bench, so he's not playing, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but obviously he's apparently got an injury, so well, maybe he's keeping his cards close to his chest about Pogba and McTominay, but I'd be very surprised if one of them didn't feature. Apart from that, just general questions about Greenwood, about supporting him. I think the press were trying to allude to how they think he might be going off the rails. I think it's also just we've got a good tradition of looking after our young players. So yeah, that was I think it was a loaded question.
There was a piece on Alex Ferguson today as well, commenting on how he doesn't have any advice to give to Rashford because he's already doing a lot of good stuff. I've seen that in the papers before. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I did have a read of that. It's a good read. I think he's in support of what Rashford's doing in terms of the campaign that he's running. So I think Sir Alex is on board with that. Other little bits from the press conference. He seems fairly confident. He was praising Southampton and Ralph Hasenhuttl about how it's a physical team. They play good football. They've had a good start to the season.
It caused problems last time at Old Trafford before lockdown. After lockdown, I think.
A stat which I think most people might already know.
Oh, it's a stat. Would you believe?
Stat alert, but yeah, we obviously drew both games with them last season. If anybody had kind of forgotten that, so I think everybody remembers that draw to Old Trafford towards the end of the season, where we were thinking, maybe has it cost us a top 4? But I think they they did play fairly well that day. So I am expecting a really, really tough game. But when you just get that feeling that they're on a bit of a run now, they don't usually kind of break a run that early. It's usually it usually comes a little bit later on. So I'm feeling fairly positive about tomorrow.
So I was basically I usually use the Score Center app to kind of look at the fixtures, the tables. I think it's had an update recently, which I didn't like. So I replaced it with the Goal app. So I've been using that. I looked at the table, and Man United, like if they win their 2 games in hand, depending on the Chelsea and Tottenham result tomorrow, but we're literally only like 1 or 2 points off the table. I mean, I know it might be a little bit too early, but can Manchester United make a late charge to the Premier League title, Harris? Or tomorrow, will we go back to our old ways? And you know what happens when we do that? Something to think about.
Yeah, I've been looking at the table as well, which I often do when I'm bored at night. So I do have a quick look. Time to time.
You're just scrolling. You're crunching the numbers at night. I don't know why, but we do it.
Crunching the stats, but I think there are other teams who've only played 9, so I know we can say, if you win another 2, be in 19, etc., etc. But I think we're still early on in the season. We've not even reached 10 games for us. I know the teams have, but we haven't reached 10 yet. So I think it's too early. I know we've got 2 winnable games. We've got Southampton and West Ham. Even though tomorrow's game will be very, very difficult. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw either, but very difficult game. And West Ham, we have after that. So if we win those games, then we've got City. So I think we need some points in the bag. I think after the City game, I think it'll be a good gauge as to where we are in the table. I think there's nothing to worry about yet. I think top 4 is obviously the aim for us this year. We're not expected to make a title charge, but as I said, I would have liked to have made some sort of attempt. I think that was what I was saying before the season started. If you've made some sort of attempt to kind of be in the mix, that would have been good. But let's see where we are in like 2-3 games time.
Before we get your kind of lineup prediction, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Did you see Jurgen Klopp's post-match interview following the 1-1 against Brighton? That was absolutely, I was stunned watching. I was like, what on earth is going on here? He's but the host, he started giving it to Jurgen Klopp. He didn't back down. He's like, you can't blame the broadcasters.
Yes,
take it up with the Premier League.
Funny you said that. Literally, when obviously we were speaking an hour ago about let's do the show. That's exactly what I was watching. I was flabbergasted.
Is that what you're watching?
Yeah, it was intense. It was like he was having a direct argument with someone. It was as if like the cameras weren't on. I think normally there's a bit of a filter, isn't there? Normally with people and managers.
Yeah. I think he's called Des Keller. I can remember in the title.
I like that.
He was absolutely going crazy. Klopp kind of went back and he was like, "Oh, this guy's actually giving it, man." But enough about Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah,
we're not going to mention his name here on the Redflex, but it was a good interview.
What was a sin? Huh? Mention it on this channel, isn't it a sin?
Yeah, no, I remembered that, so that's why I kind of wanted to move on to the next section of the show, which we will before I get in any trouble from the powers that be. Squad prediction, probably not even a squad prediction, a lineup prediction for tomorrow. What would you go for, formation-wise first, and then obviously the players to fill those spots?
As I said, based on my review of the last game, I would be absolutely gobsmacked if he doesn't play a 4-2-3-1. Has to have the 2 defensive players we got.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we got a bit of a run around. We got exposed time and time again against a very poor team in midweek. So, Southampton much better. They're in good form. They're confident. Has to be 2. Whether McTominay's fit or not, that's fine. You can play Matic and Fred. So,
you think he'll be brave enough to play a Van der Beek with either Fred or Matic, or do you think it's definitely going to be Fred and Matic?
No. Definitely Fred and Matic. I can't see Donny playing in that
role. It'd be unfortunate for Van der Beek, though. He played really well, I thought.
You get a chance, PSG is going to change the formation again, so we can talk about that.
I don't think he's playing against PSG. That's for sure.
I don't know. I think against PSG we tend to play a 5-3-2, don't we? So I don't know.
But usually they're filled with Fred and McTominay against PSG.
Yeah, that's true as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the right, actually. Donny van der Beek, if he plays some sort of role on the right, whether he comes on. I mean, I think he'll definitely play some part. I don't think he'll start. I think he will play at some point because he deserves that. He played really well. But yeah, it's going to be 4-2-3-1 from the back 4. Picks itself out, doesn't it?
I think back 4 is pretty much less. I think Lindelof had a back injury, but
I think he was taken off. I think the reason why he was taken off because as a precaution, I think he wants to save him for this game. They've had an extra day's rest. Ole even gave the players a day off on Wednesday, so hopefully they're in good shape for tomorrow. So, yeah, back 4 picks itself. McTominay. I mean, I'm gonna not say McTominay because it's 50-50, but let's say Fred and Matic, and then if you've got Bruno just behind, and I think it's going to be the usual. I mean, I'm going to say Greenwood. I'm going to put Greenwood's name in the hat.
You're going to say Greenwood, not Cavani up front?
I'm going to say Greenwood because I don't think Southampton are going to sit back for the entire game. So I think there will be spaces to run in behind. I think there will be opportunities for the counter-attack. So, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Cavani did play because, we can still use Martial and Rashford on the wings, which is, what we did against Istanbul.
Yeah.
So
I think Rashford's a lot better than playing Daniel James or Juan Mata on the right. I think Rashford can do a better job than them. So I think it kind of looked better when we had Rashford on the right. Not ideal, but he looked better.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's only changed, I think, is because obviously Martial's not been in the greatest form. He's not. Oh, what's this? What's going on here? Someone just hijacked the show. What's going on? Hello? Have you got a guest appearance?
I don't know what is happening. This is unscripted, definitely.
It's definitely unscripted.
There's that some Stone Cold music in the background right here.
Yeah, I think we'll remove him until he kind of like decides to show his face. I'm going to remove him.
What is going on here? Oh, it's Stone Cold. What is this? What is this? What is this?
Just about to remove.
What's going on here?
Just about to.
What is nice to join us?
Yeah,
I didn't
nice
even know.
to join us.
You didn't make it very clear the timings, which I expected from you, Cass, but I didn't expect from you, Harris. Did not expect it.
It was all part of the master plan.
All part of the master plan.
Ultimate heist.
No, I thought we'd definitely get in there and talk about what's going on tomorrow. I've caught a little bit of the show, not really fully up to speed with everyone's reaction. I was quickly saying
lineups. We're on to lineups.
We're on to the lineups. I'm gonna find it. I don't know whether it's been mentioned or not, but I find it very difficult for Donny van de Beek to get into this, especially with Southampton being in the position.
He doesn't start in Harris's team, by the way. He didn't make Harris's team.
Only because I don't think we're at that point in our tactical progression where we can, in the evolution of the team. Yeah, I don't think we can do it. I think it's going to be a pragmatic approach from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the McFred pivot is going to be brought back in, maybe a Matic or whatever, but the pivot's coming. Maybe once we get a foothold in the game, then maybe we can play a little bit more expansive. But with the fact that Southampton are playing well, I think they're in the top 6. I think they're in the top 6, maybe higher. At least top 6, at least top 6, maybe even higher. So they probably will be buoyant. They will not fear us. I think they've beaten a lot of good teams or given a lot of good teams a good game. So I don't see why they wouldn't think that they could do the same to us. They're an intensely pressing team, and we have struggled with the press previously. So in order to combat the press, we need the defensive-minded players. So I probably think of the standard formation that we normally go for in terms of the pivot and Bruno Fernandes. But I do hope to see Cavani up front to occupy the defenders a little bit more. I do think that Martial is much more creative. He's been a bit quiet in the last few games in a central position. So I'd like to see him given a bit more space on the wings to do what he can do. Rashford, I understand that it's not his favourite position, but we are in a place right now where we don't have that right-footed player. But Greenwood Rashford can do a good job.
Greenwood's back, but I don't know whether he's fully fit. Greenwood.
Again, Rashford does. Cavani deserves it, and also Rashford is more likely to hold width a little bit to stretch the play because Southampton are going to be very, very disciplined. So he is naturally right-footed and he can stick to the right wing. He's one of those players that in recent months has been more of a person who sticks to formation, sticks to the plan, somewhat sacrificing himself, I think. He's not been in great form. Yes, I understand that. But in terms positionally, he does like to sacrifice himself. So I think for the team, he'd probably do a good job on the right wing. I'd like to see Martial, Cavani and Rashford up front.
So I think we've got a comment just on the back of that. So AA says, who should play centre forward, Martial or Cavani? I think, Ussi, you're going with Cavani up top tomorrow. And I think, Harris, you said you'd go with Greenwood.
No, I think if Greenwood plays, I think you're playing the right. Martial, you're right, his form's indifferent. but the only way to get him back in form maybe is to play him, isn't it? So I don't know what you'll go for, but I just think
I think
just
Rashford's better than Mata or James on the right.
Yeah,
I think he's better.
I just don't see Southampton sitting back. So in that case, you'd probably want your 3 quickest players on the pitch, ideally, if in that scenario. So that's why I was hoping it'd be Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Cavani and then Martial on the left and Rashford on the right.
Yeah. No, you make a good point in terms of counter-attacking, but yeah, we'll have to see how it goes.
Your thoughts quickly, UFC, on the title of our episode today. Can Man United make a late charge for the title race? We've been looking at the table, 1 or 2 games in hand. If we can build some momentum, is the title on this season, or is it that's too soon?
I'd like to think it is, but the one thing that we do know about Manchester United is we are consistently inconsistent. So that's the only issue. I feel as though if we can have a run like we had towards the back end of the season or when Ollie first took over, then anything is possible. I'd like to see us at least be in the mix. I don't think we're quite there yet. To be fair, I think we have the personnel. I think individually, player for player, I think we do have one of the top squads in the league.
We've got a deep squad. We've got a deep squad,
but man for man, I think we should be challenging. And if we're not in the equation, I think then that does spell trouble. I'd like to think there is. Liverpool drop points today. City, I don't know whether they were just playing a very poor Burnley team today or whether they're actually back. That's still yet to be decided, but it is open. It's open. Had some of the results gone the other way, we would have been towards the top end of the league right now. So anything can happen, but it's all if, buts, and maybes. But if we can put a run together, then anything is possible. We've had a bit of a tough run already. We do have City coming up soon. Pretty sure we've got Liverpool as well, not too far after that. So
towards the third.
With the league the way it is, there is no long period without facing a tough opposition right now, because you've got the traditional top 6, but then you've got teams like Wolves, Southampton, all of these, Leicester, let's put in there as well. Obviously, Everton, we've had a tough match, even though we won. But so pretty much 8 or 9 teams in the league will give you a very, very tough game. So you're never going to be far away from one of these tough matches. So it's just a matter of consistency, squad rotation. You never know in this January transfer window. We always get hyped for a transfer window. But if we can make the right signing, like we did in the previous January transfer window of Bruno Fernandes, maybe, just maybe, we can be in the mix. I don't want to get too carried away myself, but I'd like to think that'd be in the mix.
I think in terms of January signings, we probably could do a separate video for that one. But moving on to the last part of today's show is the score predictions. Last time round didn't exactly go to plan.
Yeah, I didn't make any money on that, unfortunately, Cass.
Yeah, I didn't either. Unfortunately, Harris, I'll come to you first this time. What score is it going to be tomorrow? Will it be 3 points, or will it be a night where there's a ban on football, no match of the day, etc., etc.?
As I alluded to at the start of the show, I've got a good feeling. Normally when we go on a bit of a run, it lasts longer than 3 games. It's normally a little bit longer before we kind of have a really odd, shocking performance. So for me, 3-1 Manchester United.
3-1 Manchester United. Any score predictions or any particular score?
I'm going to say Bruno. I don't know if it's going to be a penalty, header, or a screamer.
It'll be on the score sheet.
It'll be on the score sheet.
Osi, your thoughts? What kind of day is it going to be tomorrow?
I think it's going to be very tough. We've always struggled with a pressing team, and Southampton are one of the top pressing teams in terms of stats, which Harris could probably tell you about. In terms of stats, they're one of the top in Europe. So I am a bit apprehensive on this one, but I do feel as though, like we do at the moment, individual piece of brilliance, FC, that we are, I think that we do have the quality to overcome it. I don't think we can keep a clean sheet tomorrow because of this press and because of the personnel. So I think it's going to be 2-1 to Manchester United.
That is interesting because I was also going to go for a 2-1 Manchester United. So it looks like me and us have got a lot on the line tomorrow when the game kicks off at 2 o'clock. Pride, honour, respect, everything's on the line for us.
It's all there.
But before we go then, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Usi, did you see Klopp's interview? Pretty interesting.
No, I didn't, but I'm assuming it's to do with the fact that he'd already prior made his excuses about, oh, we've got a bad run of Saturday morning fixtures, etc. And now they obviously drew today, so maybe it was something to do with that. I honestly haven't seen it.
He kind of had a go at the host who was asking him the questions, and then the host went back at him and said, look, don't you blame the broadcasters and all this. It was pretty bizarre watch.
Very good watch.
Yeah, entertaining though, very entertaining.
I'll definitely check that out.
I think that's about it for today. Just before we go, just want to remind all our viewers, we are a brand new channel. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, so make sure you join us for that. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of new content, and we're a channel that wants to go and increase our fans day by day. So make sure you show us that love. But for tonight, that's it. Thank you very much for watching us. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the post-match review. Until then, thank you very much. Stay safe, and we'll see you again. Bye.